Happy Saturday. Welcome to The Paradigm Shift, episode 156, with not one, but two unbelievable guests. Couldn't be more excited for today. Let's have some fun. Let's bring Uncle Dave on. And we're still digesting an unbelievable trip to Orange County this past week, which is terrific. What an unbelievable experience. Let's have some fun, guys. Let us know how you feel in the chats, how the week's going, and now let's bring on Uncle Dave and get this party started. Our agenda right now, to light up your soul and get you thinking just a little bit different. Uncle Dave!
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. What's going on?
All is well. It's good to see you. Better seeing you in person, though.
No, it was really great. I love, most importantly, to see the progress that you've made. I've never been more proud of you, just watching you understand how to build a brand, how to create relationships, how to provide value, and truly engage in what you're doing. And it was really nice to see the progress. You were awesome.
Thank you. I received that.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I love you very much. It was a great time, a great trip, great expo. Shout out to Scott's Protein Bowls.
Yes, sir.
We love Scott's.
I love Scott's balls.
And the dinner was awesome too.
Yeah, we were blessed to have extraordinary people like you there, and Richard Jaffe, Tim Story, Flex Lewis, Major. The list went on and on. Bucky O'Neill. We had too many. Danny Tartable was there. Most people didn't even recognize Danny Tartable, the incredible Boston Red Sox, and there's probably 30 unbelievable souls just wandering around to pour into the other 40 unbelievable souls.
I'd say 50.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was that. And just real quickly, Richard Jaffe. Wow, that's a powerful man right there. I understand why he's one of your mentors.
Yeah, I know his unbelievable perception, and he has poured into me, and hopefully I am making him proud like you're making me proud. So he's amazing.
I love it. Where are you right now?
I'm in Dallas. So as you know, I had about every week this year up until today will be my last week of five speeches a week out of 7 days. So we made it from January till here. I don't even know what date it is. April. Oh no, it's March 15th. So we'll cut it back to 2 or 3 events a week for a few weeks, but then we're back on it in April. So a couple weeks. I'll be coming to New York April 1st through 4th. I'll be in New York City, and then I'm stopping by the final 4 on the way home. Marshall Falk and I are having an event, so I have a private cocktail party with Marshall Falk and I, and an event in Phoenix, and then on to the Masters Mastermind, which is going to be, we have John Daly and Josh Miranda, Eric Weir. The who's who are coming down to the Masters, but nonetheless, we got a couple weeks where we're not 5 days a week of crazy stuff.
I love it all. I want to talk to you about the Masters. I'll speak to you this weekend.
Good, please do. We'd love to have you.
Before we bring on our 2 extraordinary guests, as always, have a little juicy nugget for you. You can teach almost anything to somebody if they're available. Specifically, you can. But I'm wondering, Dave, because this is one that I've struggled with, can you teach desire, or does that have to come from within?
So what you can do is you can teach people to clear the interference between them and their potential. You can teach people to clear the interference between them and inspiration, intuition, and intelligence. You see, if you shift your paradigm and perspective that you're part of an omniscient, all-power, unified, abundant, infinite system, then what you can teach people is to identify how they're interfering with it. And so the idea between people who ask, can you teach this desire or inspiration, or can you teach somebody to, want to be what they must be? I can teach people to clear the interference between them and what they must be, between them and the omniscient, between them and the all-powerful. And it's understanding, as you study Kabbalah, I am, Adonai, I and I, all the indicative perceptions of the illusions that are interfering with everything for everyone, the infinite loop, as I call it. So yes, you can teach people to clear the interference between them and their inspiration.
Beautifully said. And before we bring on our first guest, I just want to thank you for always making the time on a Saturday when you're traveling, and just love you, you sex turtle.
Thank you. I love being here, man. We've created quite a stir, and the guests that you're getting are amazing. I saw you with what's his name from The Office. That was awesome. Yeah,
Cool.
good people.
I've never seen Alicia starstruck until she met Dwight from The Office.
Yeah, exactly. It's always, you never know who's gonna resonate with who, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. We're gonna bring on Mike right now, and then we're gonna bring on our second guest shortly. Inviting him.
Don't call me short. Last week you're trying to challenge me in my knowledge of Einstein. This week you insult me by calling me short. That's crazy.
When did I call you short?
You just did. You said I'm gonna bring you on shorty.
I'm trying to invite Mike on right now. Not sure why it's not going through.
Too much
Mike,
energy. That's why.
Yeah. Mike, if you want to, oh, there we go. Okay, this should be it. And that was my mom's idea to challenge.
Oh, sure. That's like everybody, you know, when things are going bad. Oh, you know, my wife said I really can't do this anymore. My business partner said, you know, and my mom has a question to F you over. So, but nonetheless, let the record hold. I'm undefeated in answering Einstein questions.
Undefeated.
I'll continue to pursue my potential.
Absolutely. I don't know why we're not able to bring on Mike.
Too much energy, man. Too much energy. I'm telling you.
Let's see.
There he is.
Hey.
Oh,
what's going on?
What's up, brother?
What's up?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I gotten a haircut. You guys look sharp.
It's good to see you. Great to connect with you. Where are you dialing in from? Where are you right now?
Jersey City.
Very
Right
nice.
by you, Craig. Right by you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for hopping on. Awesome to connect with you. For our listeners and our community, if you weren't familiar, do a deep dive. Play catch up. We're just gonna dive right in.
Okay.
I want to hit your book real quick. Creative Endurance. I think those are really cool, two powerful words that I haven't actually heard side by side. What does that even mean to you, creative endurance, brother?
Yeah, well, I got the idea when years ago, I worked as the creative director of Men's Health, and I was always very interested in the relationship between, exercise and mental health, right? So fast forward to 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I was managing a team at Fast Company, a team of creatives, and also teaching. And, just started to see how everyone was just getting burnt out so quickly through the pandemic, being stuck at home and just being pushed harder and harder at work and everything else. And just started to think, okay, well, it would be really great for me to take my skills as a designer and also my new skills as a writer and apply that to a book that can help people overcome burnout in their lives. So it's, I thought about applying the idea of creative and endurance together and thinking about, okay, well, how can I, what can I learn from athletes, right? What can I learn from athletes and apply that to the workplace and apply that to the idea of creativity? And also just was thinking about how, creativity now in 2024, there's so many other fields that are creative versus the old definition of creativity, which was just limited to, photography and illustration and stuff like that. But you guys are in business, you guys are creative people, right? So we all have a degree of creativity and everyone, just needs to stay avoid burnout. So burnout is just such a topic these days. I wanted to write a book about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Big Dave, what are you smiling at?
Well, first of all, how much he looks like Ben Affleck, which I would rather look like Ben Affleck than John Lovitz, but but everybody has their own gifts, and some people are actually attracted to John Lovitz, so that works in my advantage. And that's mostly the women that like humor over looks. But more importantly, in the creative endurance side of things, it's exactly what Craig and I were just talking about. Everybody is co-creating at all times. We are, at its essence, creators. And what creates the endurance difficulty, and we both come from sports backgrounds, athletic backgrounds, and understanding how burnout occurs physically, and how overworking the body or overworking the mind or just the emotional overload that we take on can create so much interference, but it doesn't just create the interference between us and the co-creation process. It actually can accelerate us, as you know, from Men's Health, in the wrong trajectory, in the wrong direction, instead of the divine direction that your book, The Creative Endurance, allows us to understand. And when we realize through wisdom from people like you that have experienced and paid the dummy tax and worked within so many co-creation processes and illustrations of it, we start to realize that it's not just the wisdom, it's the faith in us as creators, and being able to practice in a consistent manner without quitting, but within the learning zone without achieving or pushing ourselves to a constant anxiety, which then constricts our learning, which then can even close in our own comfort zone, which causes this overwhelmed feeling, this burnout or breakdown. I've seen, and so have you guys, right? Some of the greatest athletes, business people, highly effective actualizing people have breakdowns where they can't even get out of bed, or they need drugs and alcohol to get out of bed, because they have not understood what your book is about, this creative endurance, the ability to stay in the learning zone, to identify what we're doing to interfere with our co-creativity. And I love that you've brought those two together, creativity and endurance. And there's so many things I think that people don't realize are simply a muscle, and we need to exercise muscles, we need to rest muscles, we need to practice with our muscles. And that endurance that is applied to creativity is understanding that muscle, and it takes someone with your unique perspective to articulate that to so many. So highly suggest, if you want to be good at something, creativity is a great thing to be good at as a creator. Definitely read that book, because it's going to give you some great insight and applicable mechanisms to utilize endurance with creativity.
And you called it divine too, which I've heard anybody call my book divine for, but I'll take it.
And Ben Affleck. So you got two big ones there. So you're good.
Yeah, I love this so much. And I want to ask you one more before we bring on our second guest. In the book, you talk about something that I think everybody is challenged with. Dave's really good at this because of his wind down routine, maybe avoiding it, but harnessing morning anxiety. That's something that I still struggle with. And, I do my best. I have systems and so forth. But how can, for the listeners today, grab something tangible and harness their sometimes morning anxiety?
It's important to distinguish good anxiety, because anxiety, like, you feel this like focus, right? So
Mike, you're cutting out a little bit for some reason.
Oh, how am I now?
Better?
Yeah. I'll get nice and close so you can see my beard. I think it's important to remember that, like, more anxiety can focus you, right? Like, so for me, it's like I go out in the morning, I go out for a run, it kind of focuses my brain, and, harnessing that morning anxiety, it's like understanding that it's, it's good, it's energy, it's something you want to do, it's something meaningful that you want to do, like, getting onto an Instagram live, you get a bit of anxiety, but that's good because it focuses you, right? So I think it's just important to acknowledge the good and the bad kind of anxiety, and utilize it for the best possible means you can.
Yeah, that reminds me of the difference between pressure and stress, right, Dave?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, exactly. And I think we talked about the anxiety zone and the learning zone. And what I see the book doing is teaching people how to stay in the learning zone, in an expansive perspective of life. And if you wake up with anxiety, obviously we're already starting in the wrong trajectory. And so we want to put ourselves at ease. That's why I meditate. I have an unwinding routine at night to put my mind, body, and soul in a position of recovery and access. But if you wake up in anxiety as well, meditation for me, which can be with exercise or movement or a variety of things. Meditation isn't just sitting on your mom's couch with your legs folded and looking up, or some altar. But 20 minutes of meditation in the morning will give you a baseline of ease. And to me, I'm sure it's part of that process of being and having endurance and creativity and being a creator during the day and manifesting, materializing, or even monetizing our activities. And all three are extremely essential to happiness, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun with the 24 hours that we're guaranteed every single day of our lives, except for the last day. All of us will be cheated, but we are guaranteed 24 hours every single day to be creative, be co-creative, and have the endurance to utilize it at its maximum capacity. It's the skills and knowledge that determine your basement, but it's that desire that will determine your potential. And regardless of what you want or who you want it through and with, it's available for everyone in the more than enough world. Man, we got to do more, Mike. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Mike, if you have 10 more minutes, if you're not doing anything, you could stay on for our second guest. We'd love to have you share and so forth.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to bring on.
I think the better question is if you don't have something better to do.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on John Paul right now. Could be more excited for this. This man might be single-handedly the guy who's responsible for one of the New York Giants Super Bowl win.
And he has a great camera angle. Oh, look who it is.
There he is. Good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good. Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you for joining us. Where are you dialing in from?
Union City. Not that far from Mike. Just up the boulevard right there.
Yeah. This is going to be fun. Again, our listeners, go check out what he's got going on. Follow him. So we're just going to dive right in. You ready for us?
Sounds good.
Jean Paul, how important is it to have hope, brother?
Shoot. I think it's everything. I honestly think it's everything. And I would say, oftentimes when I talk about it, whether I'm talking with students in the classroom or, fortunately, working in the juvenile detention centers or working with the Giants, I love the quote by St. Augustine, who said that hope has two beautiful daughters, anger at the way things are and courage to make sure they don't remain that way. And I think that's indicative of our society, that we have a lack of hope because, we have individuals who are willing to comment on what's going on, but, are you angry enough to see what's happening? I think we have the anger, but do we have the courage to say, nah, maybe I'm part of the solution? And I think it takes both. If it's just anger, then it's just bitterness, then it's just cynicism. And then, that leads to nothing more than just replicating itself into more hate. But I think if you can get both of those, like St. Augustine talked about, I think that's a powerful combination. So I think it's everything, to be able to have hope, even though things are tough. It doesn't mean things change tomorrow. It doesn't mean things change overnight, but I think it's that belief that, I'll be faithful even if I'm not seeing the fruit yet, kind of thing.
That resonates, right, Dave?
It certainly does. And obviously to shorten the distance of resistance that we create for ourselves, to have that divine direction, like Mike was sharing with us in his book, although the divine time, we as human beings don't have a capability of understanding or knowing the outcomes of the day and the effects and impacts that they have tomorrow. So to shorten that distance of resistance, not only must we seek the wisdom through the help of others, people who sit in a situation like yourself, Jean Paul, that sit in the situation that we want to be in or better, but also beyond wisdom, what shortens this distance of resistance that we create in the world is faith. And faith and hope come from an idea that I constantly try to simplify so it's applicable or resonates with more people, no matter what their religion is, philosophies, theories, or spirituality. And the simplest, for me, perspective of faith is that there's something bigger than me that loves me more than my mom. So when stuff happens in my life that causes pain, setbacks, failures, mistakes, defining moments, historical relevances that seem to create resistance between me and what I want or I think I want, I simply have faith that I'm being protected, promoted, and loved by an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source. And therefore, I can have that courage in order to take accountability through responsibility, attraction, and perception to learn the lessons necessary to get and shorten the distance of resistance between me, the abundant infinite loop, the system of thought, the unified system that we belong to, and hopefully in my incremental behavior, it's aligned with the divine time and divine direction that's best suited for me, not for what other people think, what's missing, or what we don't have. So there's no doubt why, from, like you said, the rehabilitation centers to the schools, even to the world champion New York Giants, that you've had such a great impact on wisdom and faith to shorten that distance of resistance, to ironically give us an endurance of creativity, which Mike shares in his book.
Yeah. I love that. And it's interesting. I think hope actually is the ground floor to create miracles. Like, for example, if somebody went to a doctor, and let's say they got a negative prognosis from a doctor, maybe they have cancer, and they said, you have a 5% chance to beat this thing. Someone can focus on the 95% chance that they don't, or they can triple down on the 5% chance that they do have to live. And then that gives them hope, and that's good energy, and obviously, right?
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. I think it's so powerful. And like you said, it's that, like you said, shortening that distance, and I love the way you put that, David, just because, I know you're a runner, Craig. And so, you do marathons, and to think of 26 miles at one time, it's inconceivable, right? It's so challenging, but sometimes it's just taking that one step in front of the other. I'm not a marathon runner as experienced as you. I did it one time. It was a crazy experience. There's an orphanage in South Africa that asked me to dribble a basketball for the New York City Marathon back in 2007. And I said yes to it, but, I'll never do it again. But, I think it's that step by step, but it's crazy because it was actually that basketball dribbling it, as crazy as it sounds, but it was just taking one dribble at a time in front of you that, to your point, Dave, like shortened that distance that before, I'm not going to say it was easy. And I'm nowhere near 3 hours and 27 minutes. Like, I did 4 hours and 1 minute, but I didn't pick it up the whole time. I did dribble it, but it's interesting. You just focus on the dribble in front of you, and before you know it, you're at mile 12, going through Brooklyn, going through the Bronx and mile 17, and then next thing you know, you're in Central Park. Still painful. Still, it was a rough recovery day the next day, but I mean, sometimes it's just one step in front of you.
I'm not the only runner on here. Mike, you running the half tomorrow?
I'm not running the half tomorrow. No, I ran my last marathon was in 2022, New York City.
Nice.
Not
Awesome.
though.
I run a marathon every week. It just takes me a week to run it at 3.5 miles at a time. And I'm happy to dribble a basketball while I do it as well, but that's fine. I do want to mention one thing, because it's so interesting as we, talk about these possibilities or faith. And, most people live their life in nothingness. And this is directly related to Mike's book and what you do, Jean-Paul, right? Most people live like tubes, food in, food out. And if they just would think about, how do I make possibilities in the day? It's thinking about what I want with personal, experiential giving and receiving values. And then to take the possibilities and make it a probability with a stronger form of faith, we just have to know who we can help and who can help us. Because the fastest way to get to where we want to be, to make it a probability, is find someone like you two guys to help me get to where you are, to give me directions where you already are, and also to help other people like you two to get to where they want to be. And then becomes that how side, which is that divine time that is so difficult to reconcile with working towards what we want. We think that if we have good behaviors, we should get instant good outcomes. No, good behaviors, which are behaviors aligned with where you want to be and who you can help, it just creates good progress. Unfortunately, we can't see progress. And so we have to have faith in order to say, if I have good behavior aligned with where I want to be or better, then I'll have good progress. And if I have bad behavior, even though I can't see the bad progress, I'm going to get that too. And then I just got to prioritize it in order to apply the why, apply the inspiration, that co-creation, that endurance of creativity that both of you exemplify in such an amazing way. And I just look forward to Saturdays, because I never know who my man Craig Siegel can con to come on here and give up a half an hour. So I want to give him, he must be a great salesman to get you two guys to give up a few minutes for us. So thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll land the plane, Dave, with this one. There's a pretty cool football helmet behind you, Jean-Paul. Admittedly, I am a Jets fan, but you have a story.
Sorry about that.
You have a story that's really, really, really incredible. And you went to go speak to the New York Giants in a season that didn't necessarily look super promising. And after you spoke to them, you created this energy and buzz and a mantra that they carried with them for the rest of the season where they won the championship. And that was the very concept of being all in. And correct me if I'm wrong, you gave them a poker chip and each one carried it and so forth. And I just think that's so beautiful and powerful. What does it mean to be all in?
I think it's like what everyone has been saying here for the past couple of minutes. It's a commitment that's as Dave even just mentioned, it's right in front of you. it's not this, sometimes dealing with students, and that's where crazy as it sounds, that when the chaplain from the Giants called me up, I wasn't a speaker. I'm a ninth grade world history teacher, working in juvenile detention centers with kids. So, a lot of times people are like, oh, it's because, you were an All-American at Montclair State. No, they didn't even know I played basketball. It was from going to jails. And I think that for me, that's the essence of what I feel, the opportunity that God gives us is, can we be faithful with little? Because, if you're faithful with little, you can be given much. And so honestly, that's what all in looks like to me. It's not what we do when we're on stage, and Lord knows we've been blessed to have all of us opportunities to be on stage and, different things of that nature. It's what we do sometimes when we're on the plane. It's what we do in line and we hear that there's a delay, which is, kills all of us when all of a sudden we need a connecting flight. And I know, you need to be in another city in probably a couple of hours, right? And you're like, wait, how am I going to get there? Can we push back my speaking time, whatever the case may be? But it's, how do I handle going to the gate agent? How do I, in the Uber car, do I just put my headphones on or do I actually say, hey, how's your night going? And I think there's those, as you mentioned, those divine little opportunities that we pass by. I love the way Erwin McManus puts it, where he said that, when we abdicate our responsibilities, we eliminate our opportunities. And I think a lot of times all in looks like, am I giving my best to my responsibilities? Not just the thing I'm excited for on the weekend or the thing I'm, really hyped up for on the Friday night, but can I do it on a Tuesday morning? And that's kind of what I just told the guys on the team. Honestly, I didn't talk about football. I mean, Lord knows they know more about football than I ever would. I wouldn't even try to go into their world with that. But I just said, what does it look like to be all in as a man, for your community, as a husband, how we treat others. And they kind of took the chip and they said, all right, well, what would it look like on the field? And, it started with just a couple of guys. I remember it was Justin Tuck and a couple of guys like that who said, as a defensive lineman, let's be all in. And then the interesting thing is, as you mentioned before, fear is contagious, but so is hope. And, next, linebackers are staying later, even the cooks are staying later, according to ESPN when they did the whole piece about it. And they said it just became something everyone started adapting to because people started not just talking about it, but living it out in person.
What a ripple effect, huh, Dave?
Yeah, you got to learn to enjoy, find the light, the love, and the lessons in what you don't like, what you don't love, what other people don't like, what other people don't like. Enjoy that consistent every day, persistent without quit pursuit of your potential. And if you're going to cheat yourself, lie to yourself, deny yourself, you're not going to reach your potential. And if your potential is losing the Super Bowl, that's fine. If it's not making the playoffs, that's fine. But most people, it's that delta of desire, that enjoyment of consistent, persistent behavior in the pursuit of a common collective consciousness or an individual one that surprises everyone. And when the basements are equal, the skills and the knowledge are equal, it is the delta of desire, that pursuit, that all in, doing your best, learning lessons and having fun, that will provide you the greatest outcomes in that, as my man Mike over there says, that divine direction and divine time of your potential, your higher self, your Christ-like being, whatever you believe in, it is there for you if you clear what interferes between you and your potential. And going all in is absolutely the directive that I hopefully inspire others, just like you two gentlemen and Craig Siegel, the Eagle, flying high above, helping all of us as well. So thanks again for taking your Saturday. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to snatch their copy of Mike's book. And if you're looking for a powerful speaker to penetrate souls, look no further than John Paul. And Uncle Dave, before we hop off, how can everyone get involved with what you have going on right now?
That's always email is the best way. So david@dmeltzer.com. I still sign my book, send it to you, pay for shipping and the book. It takes people like all three of you to empower others to be happy. Let's all live in abundance. There's more than enough of everything for everyone, but you got to do the work and participate in that perception. And just, I'm blessed to be a part of this. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you all. We'll all connect.
Thank you,
You guys have a great weekend. Love you guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. See you
See you
guys.
soon. Thank you.
Bye,
Buy that
guys.
book. Buy that book.
What an awesome conversation. Wow, that was powerful. Unbelievable, guys. For you guys that were not familiar with Jean Paul and Mike, give them a follow right now. Grab his book, hire them to speak. Unbelievable human beings. Uncle Dave, thank you as always. This was fantastic. If you guys like inspirational nuggets on leadership, spirituality, business, all that stuff, you could join our texting community. It's totally complimentary. Just text 917-634-3796. And I would also take Dave up on that book deal because his book is awesome. And I love you guys. Let's have an unbelievable weekend. I'm running the New York City Half Marathon tomorrow. If you'd like to track, I could definitely use your energy. Just download the app, the New York City Half, and type in my name. You'll get my bib number. Love you guys. Let's have an unbelievable weekend.